Here we are, another week with Parenting Paused. And this week, we are going to explore the word mistake. We often hear, you made a mistake, or you shouldn't have done that. And I was just looking up the definition of mistake, and it says an action or judgment that is misguided or wrong. Now, let's dig down into that for a moment. Like, whose judgment or idea that it's right or wrong is that coming from? Right? So often here, I made a mistake, or you made a mistake, especially with children. You made a mistake and you need to apologize for that. But remember, the mistake is based on a judgment of what you feel is right or wrong or misguided. Kind of amazing, right? So anytime in Pure Joy we hear mistake, we don't really see it as a mistake. We see it as an opportunity, as a challenge, as a point of inquiry to ask ourselves, well, why am I thinking this is a mistake? Whose voice am I hearing inside? So let's say that you made a decision with your child and they don't take it really well, and you go, oh gosh, I made a mistake. I didn't discipline them well enough. I always hear this, or I didn't support them when they needed it, the way they needed it. And yet, can you hear how inside there's a voice that's telling you, basically, it didn't turn out the way I thought it was going to turn out, so I must have made a mistake. So in Pure Joy, when we kind of pull it apart, we just say, hey, what if there were no mistakes, right? What if we started from the ground of innocence? And this is such a big factor in Pure Joy, is that our core vulnerability and our ground is one of innocence. Now, everything on top of that innocence is us creating strategies to try to fit into our world, to try not to make any mistakes. But those mistakes are all dependent on the external expectation, right? Can you hear how that is? So this week, if you're listening, take a little time and ask yourself, how often do you think you made a mistake? And if you did make a mistake, ask yourself, where is that coming from? Was it because your expectation didn't turn out the way you wanted it to? Right? Let's say you even go on vacation and it's not a great one because the rain's not good, or it rains and the weather's difficult. And then you go, oh God, we made such a mistake. We should have gone to that other place. We made a mistake coming here. Well, can you see how that is based on, we had an expectation of how it was going to be, and it's not the way we thought. But if we take it into we made a mistake, then we're not able to find that opportunity to find the benefit of where we are. So you're going to play with that this week, especially with your children. If you hear yourself saying they made a mistake, and some of the synonyms for mistake is a misjudgment, a miscalculation, a misstep, right? Ask yourself, well, what is that based on? Because reality is they did what they did, or the reality is we do what we do. And if we don't see it as a mistake, then we may inquire into what was our expectation. Ooh, it's a big one, right? Especially on children, because we have so many expectations for it to turn out a certain way, for them to look a certain way. And then if they don't, to act a certain way. If they don't, we may frame it that they made a mistake. So you're going to play with that this week. See what it's like when you start to go, whoop, I made a mistake, or you made a mistake. What if you just relax and take off the judgment that you did something wrong, and then get curious about what you actually did or what your children are actually doing, and see what happens. Like, what benefits can you find to the actual action that they did or actually happened or that you did. It's a big one to look at. All right. I will see you next week with Parenting Paused.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Parenting Paused. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a favor and share it with your mama friends. You can also leave a review wherever you listen, which will support getting the Pure Joy message out. Come on over to the Pure Joy Parenting Practice Facebook page or join me on Instagram to hear more. And don't forget to download your free copy of the Safe Seat course on the Pure Joy website. And while there, check out the offerings page to go deeper in the Pure Joy work.